are so back, y'all. I'm so happy to be here again. But hola, bienvenidos, buenas noches a las todos, and welcome back to another episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha, your weekly CMLL review show here at BC WrestlePod. And of course, we're already swinging hot out the gate because we got Primo already here. It has been far too long, my friend, but we are back in full effect. Oh my goodness. I am Mikey, also known as El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. I run the ones and twos, and I am herding all of these lovely gentlemen into trying to face the biggest enemy of all, scheduling. Pod. I was just like, this is why I could never work reception because I would lose my mind of how many appointments we need to keep track of. So shout out to all the clerical people out there, the receptionists. Like, I do not envy your job. And also, make sure that you befriend them all as well, because they will give you all the tea, and we love them for it. But of course, I am joined this evening by my lovable little bear partner in crime, Mr. Papa Oso himself, who I love the hats, and he has so many plethora of hats that you will be seeing probably throughout the year, and we're going to buy him some more because they're fun. Unfortunately, we are down Adolfo. He is currently still on his, sabbatical hiatus. He got lost in the sauce. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Adolfo is still taking his reset, and hopefully he will be back sometime soon. But until then, he does say hi, and he loves everyone, and he misses everyone. But we also want to make sure that he takes care of himself, because taking care of yourself should be at the forefront in your 2026 goals and resolutions. But we got a whole plethora of action to talk about tonight. I know we do these reviews a couple days after each Viernes Espectacular, but my God, there was a lot of wrestling for me this weekend. But this was also one thing I was just like, grab the tissues, because I'm probably gonna get emotional because I'm a little bitch when it comes to this. And yeah, I cried. So, but I loved it, especially when there's children involved, man. That, like, I was like, puppies and children are my weakness, and food. Those are my three kryptonites. So we're gonna get into all of that, but before we do, to kind of go through our announcements as we normally do here at BC WrestlePod, we are a group of 14, 15, sometimes 16 and 17. We just keep collecting people like Infinity Stones and Pokemon at this point. But we are so happy that you have found us, regardless if you have been rocking with us since day one, or if you are new and wondering what in the wacky world is this. However you found us, and however long you've been a part of this lovely crew here on the internet, welcome, hi, and feel free to subscribe and explore our YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, where you can find our full-length streams, and especially on YouTube, the edited reviews. We also are on your favorite social media site at BC WrestlePod, so you can follow us anywhere and everywhere, where we do our report cards, our predictions, our previews of the weekly shows, as well as some other fun stuff that happens on the internet. We have some merch available at our store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com, where new designs are coming this weekend, because my artistic and slightly autistic brain has finally settled on designs I actually like. And apparently my designs are also causing epilepsy for some of us. No, but seriously, we're going to figure that out. We're probably going to keep this background. I might just keep it as a static image, though, but we'll see what happens with all of that. But we also, of course, we have a little coffee bot. He is our friendo who helps us pay for these pay-per-views out here, specifically AEW pay-per-views, because they're the only company that still we shell out money for, but that's okay, because I don't mind paying for good wrestling. And that is what we do here at BC WrestlePod. We watch all the wrestling. So now that the announcements are out of the way, let's get into why we're really here. You don't want to hear me ramble about these announcements. Let's talk about some wrestling. Let's talk about some Lucha Libre goodness coming from Arena México. So again, this is the first CMLL Post-Show Breakdown of 2026. It's been a couple of weeks. CMLL has been really fun the last couple of weeks. I mean, before we went on to our 2-week vacation, We had, some of the AEW folks come down. Like we had Soberano Jr. take on Kevin Knight, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mascara Dorada, Claudio, and Ultimo Guerrero. And then, we had some other fun stuff, but we have things to get into. First and foremost, before I even announce the first match we're going to talk about, shout out to CMLL for giving us graphics once again for this special episode for the Sin Salida. So if you are unfamiliar with CMLL, Sin Salida is the yearly event where there is a giant cage match, and it is crazy because somebody is losing hair or their mask, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Also, not just for this show, but for the last couple of shows, as Primo's, points out, CMLL has been selling out their shows like crazy the last couple of weeks and months, and they're continuing to do crazy things. Also, I will talk about it when we get to the end of this, but CMLL also just dropped that in the next couple of weeks we're getting some crazy matches between the AEW folks and the CMLL folks, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. Yeah, also, Místico and Soberano got one the night before. CMLL is doing wonders, and they're kind of on and popping. Not to say that they weren't on and popping before, but it is crazy, and I cannot wait. So, anyways, so let's get into this. So we kick things off with a Relevo Sencillo. So this is our opening match of the evening, in which sees the team of Hijo del Pantera and Valiente Jr. taking on Infarto and Troglodita. Once again, very excited to see Troglodita, one of our Escuela boys, still popping up in here. And also really love seeing these other individuals as well. So, of course, this one was going to be a tough night for everyone because, again, the Sin Salida match was main eventing the show, and that one was going to go long, and long it did. But we still had some other fun stuff happen here. I think this was a pretty solid opening bout. As we always say, the opening matches on Viernes Espectacular do tend to set the tone for the rest of the evening, and I had a good one with this one. So this was a pretty good, and I enjoyed it. So again, I feel like, because this is an opening match and we had everything to get to in the main event, I feel like some things were cut for time. And so I kind of agree with Primo here that I wanted a little bit more in terms of time, but I did love this match between all four of these individual. Papa Oso, this is the first, post show of the year. What did you think of our opening match?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I agree. I think it was too short, and I know why. But that's sadly though, everything kind of felt rushed. Leading up to the main event, and which I guess can't be helped, and that's fine. But I mean, I really enjoyed this. And I love Valiente Jr. I mean, I like all four of these guys actually.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it is really neat to see Troglodita again because it's been a while since I've seen him. And back in the day when we first started this, he was here a lot, and then he just sort of went away. But so that was really neat when he was announced. I was like, "Yay! Oh, cool, he's back." But the other ones we've seen pretty regularly, but he's the only one that I hadn't seen in a while. And but I love this match, and again, I agree with everybody else. I think it just wasn't long enough. I felt like they had more to give, and but them's the breaks, I guess. But that was pretty good.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with you, Primo. I would hopefully that these guys become the upper card in a few years as well. Because again, I have to remember that a lot of the newer guys are fairly young. Like we're talking still in their 20s and sometimes younger. I was just like, I swear, like brown and black folk, like black don't crack, brown don't frown. Like it's crazy out here. But I agree, and I'm probably going to put that. I'm going to put that same comment for somebody a little bit later too when we talk about them a little bit later. But yeah, this is a very fun opening bout. Valiente Jr. and El Hijo del Pantera pick up the victory here in this Relevo Sencillo. And we move straight into our second match, which claps all around. one of my favorite boys. Both of my favorite boys is in this match. So here we do get a really fun Relampago match. So this is, of course, Titan versus Utani. Been loving that Utani is getting featured a lot within the last couple of weeks and even the last month or two. So he's also another person I really hope to see in the upper card in the next couple of years. Titan is always fantastic. You know, Mans is wrestling in CMLL, and whenever he goes to Japan, when they have him go over, is great. This was just a fun lightning match. Again, we cut some stuff because of what we got in our main event. So it did feel, I do appreciate that they almost went the full 10 minutes still with this one, which was really, really nice. And one of the benefits of having a Relampago match. But I'm biased. I love these two. I did enjoy this match. So I had a good time with this one. Papa, what did you think about this Relampago match?
You know, it's funny because we're talking about time and everything, but I was like, yes, it will at least maximum get 10 minutes. So I was like, yes. Because, you know, I love both of these guys. I've really, really, really kind of grown to like Utani.
I mean, you picked him as the one to watch for 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. And because he's pretty spectacular, I have to say. And of course, Titan is just amazing. I just love watching him. And so I was excited when they announced these two were going to be wrestling each other. So this was sort of like a fantasy wrestling league pairing up. And then it happened. So I was like, yes. And I loved it. I thought this match was lit. And I thought they were going to go the full 10 minutes. I really did. I was like, yes.
I love that. Papa also using the children speak in lit. Yeah. We love it. Clip it. Yeah. Clip it now.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh no, an old man used it. Now we can't use it anymore.
Like, we love it though. We love you, Papa. It's fantastic. And so Agent Lo-Fi coming in too. Obviously, we need more from these two, but they got everything they could in that time frame. You know, still a fantastic match. Titan does go over and pick up the win against Utani here, but I'm really excited for these two, and I'm really looking forward to see. Again, we have a whole year to see where the journeys take for, well, pretty much everyone in CMLL. So very, very fun to see where we're going to go with these two. Alrighty, so we are going to, well, no, we're not going to take a break, but we kind of take a break in terms of like, oh, it's all CMLL talent, because when I saw for this, my little independent wrestling heart was full. Also, like, one of my favorites that I love Thurston over is also in here as well. On terms of the challenger side. But we get a New Japan Strong Tag Team championship match. And before I go into all of that, Primo putting Utani as his most improved in 2025, which we love. It's so good. And he said that Valiente Jr. was close, but Utani made the better leap on the card, had some main events, which he did. He was in the main event towards the tail end of the year, which was really fun to watch Utani be in like the main event scene. But back to this match. So we have our New Japan Strong Tag Team Championship match. So this is Los Hermanos Chavez, which is Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja, taking on some members of the New Japan Strong Dojo themselves. So, of course, we have West Coast Wrecking Crew. That is their tag team name, which is made up of Jornell Nelson, who is the lovely gentleman in the back on the right. But then, of course, on the front is Mabu Thang, the Sky High Samurai, Royce Isaac. And I was like, hello, cake. I was just like, and I got to see that in person too. I was just like, ooh, love you. No, but I really do like West Coast Wrecking Crew. They are more on the independent wrestling scene and do participate in the New Japan Strong shows here in the United States and sometimes in Japan. They are usually a heel tag team. And they definitely played heeled here, which is really, really good. But I love them. Now, as far as this match goes, I thought this was a really good. Again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but because of the main event, I thought this was pretty decent. I was a little disappointed because I feel that it took them a little bit to kind of get connected in terms of chemistry, and even when they did, I feel like we didn't get the full extent to it. So I thought this was pretty okay. It did take me a little bit to get used to because, again, with West Coast Wrecking Crew, to my knowledge, I believe this is their first real time in Arena Mexico, and unfortunately, it kind of showed a little bit because I know New Japan, you have the strong style of wrestling, you hit hard, you work snug, but you don't. At least the strong New Japan strong folks don't really get a lot of opportunities to work with luchadores. I know that they have the partnership with CMLL, but we don't really get to see the dojo folks come over and work with the CMLL talent like we see in the other stuff. So I thought this was a pretty decent match. I will say I did like seeing, like Primo brings up, I love seeing, Los Hermanos Chavez have a different style of match. I guess the best way to describe it, I feel like this is the most Americanized match I have seen in CMLL, and that's saying something because we saw like Mystico and MJF go at it like back in September at the Aniversario show. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this was decent. I didn't hate it, but I was just like, yeah, love you, West Coast Wrecking Crew, but this is definitely your first time working with actual luchadores. All right, Papa Oso, I know I talked a lot, but what did you think about this one?
I mean, it's very much one of these things is not like the other.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't horrible. Wasn't spectacular. I mean, I think it really kind of took me out of the flow of the night a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think it was because it was very American or Western, whatever you want to call it. And it felt like the two styles were fighting each other as opposed to, working with each other. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. Some eye candy floating around in there. And so that was okay. But I mean,
yeah.
And I mean, all right.
Yeah, and Primo brings up we didn't get the normal close counter spams that the Chavez usually do, which again is a thing. So yeah, I thought this was still a pretty good match, but it definitely was a little bit off in certain areas. But Los Hermanos Chavez do still pick up the victory here, which is very, very nice touch, which we love to see. And yeah, so they are still our New Japan Strong champions. Very interested to see where we go with them going into 2026 and where we go with them because they are both the Strong and Tag champs still. So that's always going to be a fun one for sure. Yeah, out of their whole trip down in Mexico, West Coast Wrecking Crew ended up going 1-4 on their tour. Kind of surprised they took that many losses. Kind of rare for foreigners. Hopefully, I mean, yes and no, because outside of like the New Japan Strong events, they don't really, and some independent wrestling scenes, they tend to lose a lot. I will say though, they were on a run because they held those New Japan Strong tag titles for quite some time before ultimately losing them to Templario and TJP last year in May. The reason I know that is because I was there live at that show for New Japan Resurgence. So yeah, so again, more tag teams for the New Japan titles would be great. It'd be fantastic. Alrighty, so at this point, we then get into the semi-main event, which was a Relevo Australiano. So this is the team of Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Atlantis Jr. taking on, Volador Jr., Barbaro Cavernario, and everybody's Novio Soberano Jr. I don't care what nobody says. Soberano Jr., I love you so much. Never change. You and your pointy outfits, like Queen. We love it. Exactly. And that's the other thing, too. This match got the normal amount of time, too. I was just like, well, of course they did. I was like, do we not see who's in this match? Just kidding. I love everybody involved. Oh my goodness. And of course, again, because this is a 2 out of 3 falls level Australiano match, it's just like, yeah, this makes sense. And I was just like, semi-main event before the cage match that we were going to get into in a little bit. I had fun with this one. I really, really did. I was just like, yeah, all my faves are in here, so we're going to have a good time. And a good time we had. Papa, what did you think about this one?
Well, it's funny because I totally was like, there's no way they're going to shortchange Mystico. There's no way. I was like, this is going to go longer than everything else I felt. I mean, and so when it's normal, as you guys said, but I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And it was good. I loved it because it's like, wow. I mean, first of all, you would not put this much talent in a single match and give them like 3 minutes to wrestle. It's like, that's an exaggeration. But I was just like, okay, we're going to see something with this one. And, and I love that, of course, I guess it's because of who is in the match. But, it's so fun. One of the greatest things I love about luchador wrestling, or wrestling in Mexico in general, I guess, is the audience is so participating in the event. They're not just spectators. 100%. They're legitimately like part of it. And I loved it. And it was very, 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 very prominent here. You could tell that, one, these guys know how to work a crowd, and the crowd was eating it up.
Oh, 100%.
So great. And it was so great to watch.
You and Primo are on the same wavelength because the crowd work was on freaking point. Everything funny. They did was being eaten up. Like, this is just a fun semi-main event, and it makes sense for everybody we got involved here. So this was a really, really fun bout between everyone. This is great. And yeah, it was really fun. So Soberano's so over. He's getting people to boo Mystico. You can kind of hear it here, but you really heard it the next day at Arena Coliseo. It's really fun. And I think we talked about this in our last review, our last post show before break too. It's just like Mystico and Soberano Jr. will have a generational like run of being like kind of the same person, but split into two different halves. And again, Soberano is so over. Like, if people start booing Mystico because of it. Like, I mean, I love Mystico too. Go get me wrong, but I was just like, it's El Novio, so like, of course I'm biased. Like, oh my goodness, we love to see it though. So after a really fun back and forth, we were tied 1-1 apiece, but ultimately it would be the team of Mystico, Máscara Dorada, and Atlantis Jr. to pick up the win over Volador Jr., Barbaro Cavenario, and Soberano Jr. All right, kids, strap yourselves in because I'm going to just let this picture hang for a little bit because Lord help us.
It was so much. It was so much.
I mean, we said the same thing last year too with like how many people, but still, this was wild to me. So while we let this picture, so you could take a look at all 16 individuals that are a part of this match, in our main event of the show, we got our Sin Salida match, so which would end up becoming a mask versus mask. First and foremost, CMLL, shout out to y'all for doing like those like infomercial style like rules of how the match worked for those who are not unaware too. It's just like, and like watching the graphics of everything was great. So in the Sin Salida match, if you know the lucha de Hula, which we love to see, the jail, basically it's like the jail fight is essentially what it translates to in English. In this, everybody would be locked in the cage and nobody can start making an escape until all 16 participants were in. Then the only way that you can consider yourself safe and fight another day to keep your mask or your hair is you had to climb out of the top of the cage. Unlike in the States where you can escape through the door, You cannot do that here in Arena Mexico. You literally had to climb over the top of the cage, and then you would be considered safe and then climb your way down. The door was locked the entire time once everybody was in. It was crazy. So, man, yeah, before I even get to the participants, this is something I did want to talk about too.
Oh, how funny. I was about to say something about that too. How hilarious.
So Primo brings up, not a big fan of cage matches in CMLL, to be honest. The no blood kind of sucks for me. This also would have been a little bit better with 8 instead of 12 here. 12? There's like 16 people. What are you talking about? No, just kidding. No, I was like, there are 16 people in this match, right? Yeah. No, or am I making that number up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, there were 16. I was just like, there are 16 people in this match. I was just like, I would have been fine with 12, but 8 is probably better because there was a lot going on in this match. And look, I love multi-person matches. I'm used to like big old rumbles where we get like 20, 30 people in a ring. Like the battle, like we just talked about this. There is a way to do these kind of big multi-person stuff all the time. And, you know, not to invoke another promotion, but like a couple of weeks ago before we went on vacation, Papa, you and I, you know, talked about TNA where we had that 20-person rumble, and it kind of worked because, you know, everybody was in there, and then we got rid of like, it didn't take too long to get rid of people, and then it was only like the last 5 or 6 people that really, not to say everybody else didn't matter, but it was like, okay, these are the 6 that actually have the shot of getting this championship out, right? And so I was just like, there's a lot going on in this match. The cameras did the best they could. Honey, they tried. They tried. I will say, though, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, the ending was honestly the best I can remember for Sin Salida. I really felt the important win idea. We're going to talk about it because I cried. So this is crazy. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Full Metal won last year. What's he been doing for referee? Ooh. That's true. Alrighty, so let's get into this. So in this match, there were 16 individuals, and they are as follows. Going from left to right, according to my list, we have Astral, Electrico, Oro Jr., Diamond, which again is crazy to say. It's just regular. It's like Diamond. Espíritu Negro, El Vigía, Rey Cometa, Blue Shark, Virus, Concebrero, Calavera Jr. 1, Calavera Jr. 2, Sangre Imperial, Robin, Polvora, and El Coyote. There's a lot of people in this match. There's 16 people in this match.
Can I say that I love El Coyote's mask?
Yes. El Coyote's mask, never get tired of it. Man. But, so, again, I didn't really explain the rules very well. So, again, there's a lot of people. Some people have masks. Some people have long, gorgeous locks. So, what ends up happening is you have to escape the cage to save your mask or save your hair. If you get the pleasure of being one of the final 2 people in the cage, then it becomes a regular match to one fall, where the loser, it either becomes mask versus mask, mask versus hair, or hair versus hair. Somebody is losing something by the end of this night. So there was a lot. We had some mask ripping. We had some accidental. We had almost an actual nip slips in this match. People were pulling masks. People were pulling off clothing. I was just like, guys, it is not that kind of show. But hey, I was just like, what is happening? That's very, very true. Hey, but you know what? That's also very true. These have generally been for people on their way out, or minis, like a show for people that are normally first, second match guys. This felt like building someone. Yeah, so we're going to get to it. So, every chaos is happening. It's like a good hour and a half long match. So, I was sat with some snacks, right? You know, I was like, this is going to be a long one. One by one, people start exiting the cage. And then finally, we get down to our final 2 in this match, in which everybody was just like, okay, now we're going to actually get some wrestling done. So the final 2 end up being Calavera Jr. 1 and Robin, which then turned into a mask versus mask match, right? The crowd is so behind the Calaveras, and they were cheering for Calavera Junior Uno throughout this whole entire final sprint, so to speak, man. But man, this final bout was really, really good between Robin and Calavera Junior Uno. There was near falls, there was some thicker things happening, but ultimately, Calavera Junior Uno is the winner. He gets to keep his mask, even though it got ripped up in the process, and so did Robin's. So that's the match itself. But then we still had like a 20, 30, 25-minute whole thing because we had. I cried because we had the whole process in which before we even had the mask come off and everything, like we had tiny little Robin come into it. So Robin's child, his boy, and then his daughters came in. Everybody was crying. There was hugs going on. My feed got a little bit blurry because I could not see past my tears that I was shedding. And I was just like, oh my God. I was just like, why am I crying for wrestling? What the flip? I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And then what made it worse too is that Calavera Junior Uno was crying. We had Mascara Dorada trying not to cry too. So of course, after everything was said and done, like Robin does end up demasking himself. We learned that this is, is Robin. He's been wrestling for 20 plus years. I was like, hot damn. I was like, my God. And I was just like, man, this is crazy. Like, I cried. This was so emotional. And honestly, this moment was so impactful. I'm like, this is barely the third day of 2026, and you already have this moment for me to run it back. It's crazy. So, Primo, I'm gonna bring your comments in here in a little bit too, but Papa, like, let's dissect this. So, the match, the cage, the one-on-one, the demasking ceremony, like, where do you want to start?
Well, let me start with the overall thing first.
Mm-hmm.
The cage felt weird to me. And maybe it's because I've never seen the cage in CMLL before, but it just felt weird. It felt, it's like the elephant in the room. And I don't know. It was weird. It made me, I don't know. It was weird. The overall thing, it's funny because I was like, they could have done this without the cage and it would have been just as effective. I don't know if the cage was just to add, flair or whatever, but I felt like it could have been done without the cage, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and then when we get to the end, the two, it was like my heart was beating too fast. I was like, it was stressful. It was stressful. And then, of course, the ending happened and the masks and tears were flying everywhere. And it was one of those, and we've seen it in the past when this has happened with like Euphoria. I remember his whole thing when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because, and this is not me speaking as an expert by any means for you folks out there, but for what I have in the year plus that we've been doing this, I have the traditions of this style, the sort of what people hold dear to themselves when it comes to this style of wrestling. It is extremely emotional when they have to give up that tradition. It's something that they have, I mean, I don't know because I'm not a luchador, a wrestler. Obviously, I'm nowhere near because I'm as white as a sheet. But but it's the idea. I understand it. I understand the idea of that mask being something that's part of you. It's who you are. And when you have to remove it, having it ripped off is one thing, but when you personally have to take your mask off, it is, I get emotional thinking about it right now. I get a catch in my throat because it is the most personal thing. If, like I said, if someone else had ripped it off and we had seen whatever, okay, that's, oh man, what's that? But to watch him remove his mask, and as difficult as it was, and you're right, and having the kids there, and it was just, and then watching the other wrestlers just sort of understand. And that's one of the things I love about it, is everybody understands, even though we are wrestling and one of us is losing our masks. I understand the legitimacy of it, and you could feel it. But it was beautiful. It was just so beautiful, and I always feel so honored to be able to see something like that. And I can only imagine the power it has in person, though. With the audience sitting there, and you just feel that emotion just sort of wash over you, that sort of thing. And I mean, it would be for me if I was sitting in that audience watching this. I mean, I would just probably I'd be sobbing, probably. But I'm a big softie anyway. But yeah, I loved it. It was beautiful and brutal and honest and raw. So I loved it. It's what I love about this style of wrestling. It's it's just that the feeling you get, it's like you get caught in it. You get, these wrestlers become your brothers and sisters, and you kind of feel that, when he was removing his mask, even though I didn't know him that well, I'd heard of him, but I was feeling it, man. I was like, dude, no, don't. I mean, I literally was saying, no, don't. Come on, there's got to be a different way we could do this. I was literally like, is there any other way that we could do this without him removing his mask? I was just like, I mean, I did it when it happened to Euphoria too. I was like, right. Oh, come on, there's got to be another way. Go, oh no, no, don't take it off. I don't know. It really hits me hard. So
yeah. Alrighty, so Primo, I'm gonna bring in all the comments that you brought up during this whole thing. So first, going back a little bit, so he has met Robin, extremely nice as expected. He's run a ton of shows out of the Chicago area, and Robin has his own promotion that works with CMLL in the US, which now I need to know more of because that's fantastic. Also, he brings up that the reason that there was no other family members with Robin is that the Alvarado family is banned from CMLL since about 2017. What did they do? And Mascara Dorada was there as his sister is with Robin. That's a scandalo right there. I'm just kidding. And then, I don't exactly know how, but Psycho Clown, who is a wrestler in AAA, and Robin are related. It's a pretty big family tree. They're from the Brasso line of luchadores. You may remember Super Porky, as he had a short stint in the Fed. God, that's a name that goes way back before my day. Oh my goodness. Now I'm interested. So, Primo, if next time you are here, I would love to know what happened and why the Alvarado family is banned from CMLL. I'm like, what they do? Be like, what they do? So,
spill the tea, man. Spill the tea.
Yeah, spill the lucha tea. That is what we're here for. Spill it. I was like, we are now a gossip column. I love it though. Alrighty, so yeah, this was just a way to end it. I love it. It's a long story and stuff went down. LOL. Alrighty, Primo. I know you don't do the social medias, but I know you're on one site, so I'm a direct message you if I can. Be like, spill that tea. Oh shit. Okay, tires may have been slashed. Oh shit. Now I'm invested. Okay, so Primo, we have homework to do. So I'm gonna reach out to you over the next couple of days, and I need all the tea so we can spill it when we come back. Oh man, but I mean that was tires may have been slashed. Hey, you know what?
That's some
Arena
petty shit
México,
right there.
CMLL is your own telenovela. We love it. But yeah, so before we say goodnight for the evening, we do have a preview of this upcoming week of CMLL goodness. So that's going to be a fun one. So let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, apparently not. So now, you know what? I'm not going to lie, Primo. If you can help us give us the stories and create the scripts, I am so willing to go out of my way to make like editorial style videos, even if they're like 3 minutes long. To be like, here is your weekly dose of Lucha gossip, and here is the feud that happened. I'm honestly down to. I know it sounds crazy to say, but I am so down to make like Lucha feud videos that are just like pop culture style. To be like on extra tonight. Extra.
I'd watch that so hard.
I am so here for it. So, Primo, thank you for giving us more content ideas. We're going to reach out and talk about it a little bit. But for this upcoming Friday, for Viernes Espectacular, we do have some really fun stuff coming up. So, coming at us this Friday, we are kicking things off with a Relevo Australiano VIP match. So, that should be fun. We're getting Angelito, Caligula, and Pequeño Magia taking on Pequeño Polvora, Full Metal, and Rostro de Acero. Then in a Relevo Sencillo, we have Calavera Jr. 1 y Calavera Jr. 2 taking on Robin and Polvora. So Robin is going to be in action this Friday, which we love to see. Then in a Relevo Sencillo VIP, we have Max Star and Futuro taking on Mephisto and Euphoria. Then this next one has me interested because in a Relevo Australiano VIP, we have Star Black, Fugas, and Explosivo taking on Difunto, Barbosa, and a mystery partner. So we don't know who that's going to be, and it's 2/3 of Galeon Fantasma. So that should be very interesting. Then in the match Relampago, my body and my soul are not ready, but they are going to still be really, really fun. Mascara Dorada versus Titan in a 10-minute bout. And I was just like, yes. We love to see it. And then in the main event, por el Campeonato Mundial de Peso Semicompleto, CMLL. Of course, that is for the middleweight, the semi-complete, the middleweight championship of CMLL. Místico defending the title against Barbaro Cavernario, so that should be fun. Oh, Primo, this is really good information. The VIP matches were voted best of the month on CMLL's site. Sweet! We love that for everybody, and I need to get on this voting action. We love to see it. So, again, we started off the year with the crazy cage match. Robin is now demasked, but we are going to see him in action as well as some of our other favorite folks this upcoming Friday. You bet your bottom dollar we will be here next Wednesday reviewing it all and recapping it. That's it for the review portion, but I do have a quick announcement because CMLL just dropped some stuff for us. Over the last couple of days, CMLL has been teasing some dates that happened to coincide with Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th, and Sunday the 18th of January over the last couple of days. And so it's like, I wonder what is going to happen on Informa tonight to tell us. Well, we got that announcement, and CMLL just announced that at some point within those 3 dates, the following matches and people have been described. So, at some point, whether it's on the Friday, the Saturday, or the not Sunday show, sorry. The Friday, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday show. We don't know when these are happening, but in a one-on-one match, we are getting Templario taking on the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito. So Bandito is coming back, and he's going to square off against Templario, and I'm just probably going to melt into a puddle on my floor. Be like, that match is going to be so good. But also, yes. We are also getting, for the AEW National Championship, Ricochet is coming back to Arena México to face off against Titan at some point, so that's going to be fun. Then in a Ring of Honor Pure Championship rematch that's making me so excited, we have Shelhua taking on the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Taiga Style Lee Moriarty. And if anybody knows my matches of 2025, I highly love that match from Supercard of Honor in the summer. So we're getting a rematch. And then at some point, we're getting all 3 members of the Gates of Agony in CMLL. So Ricochet, as well as Toa Leona and Bishop Khan. So I'm very, very excited to see some of our AEW folks be coming down here. I'm not going to lie, you guys, from a pure wrestling sport, I'm excited for Lee Moriarty and Shelhua. But from a, oh my God, they're going to fly everywhere and I'm going to melt because of bodies, Bandito and Templario is also at the top of my list. So really quickly, though, Primo coming in. If you guys haven't, you should very much vote. And Lucha Blogs, Tapatio Awards, you've watched enough, and there really wasn't anything outside CMLL that was better, if I'm being honest. LOL. Aw, see, we're getting all this insider information, and I feel like we're about to explore a world that we had no idea existed when it comes to Lucha Awards like this. But I definitely going to have us check this out, too. And Primo, we love you so much. Thank you for always rocking with us and giving this insider information. And I feel very worthy that you recommend us to vote in these awards. So I was just like, because I never know if we're qualified to do anything like this when it comes to Lucha Libre, since we're all so fairly new with it still. But honestly, I'm probably going to go check it out either tonight or tomorrow to do so. So this should be, I'm excited to see it. But yeah, that's going to be it for us here tonight at Los Lobos de la Lucha. Again, we'll be back next Wednesday to talk about more CMLL goodness. But we do have some fun stuff to wrap up this week. We have our final post-show breakdown this week on Friday, as Will and I will be spending some quality time together, as well as our other co-hosts, Will, because there's 2 of them. Go figure. And we'll be talking about TNA. This is the final TNA pre-tape before we go live next week on AMC. This is going to be nuts. And honestly, I still have mixed feelings, but I'm excited to see the matches that we're getting for this upcoming week. Should be a lot of fun. And hopefully, if the internet doesn't want to, go out on Will's end, we get to watch it together tomorrow. So at least there's that. But that's going to be it for us here tonight. We hope to see you Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific for our TNA post-show breakdown. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you on Friday for TNA Wrestling post-show. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.